Ever open Adobe Fresco, start coloring, and everything falls apart? Colors bleed outside the lines, your line art looks off, and your layers are a total mess. Yeah, I've been there. When I started, I didn't realize how a few small mistakes could wreck my designs, slow me down, and make digital art way harder than it needed to be. In this video, I'm showing you 4 beginner mistakes that quietly hold your designs back and how to fix each one fast. I'll also walk you through how I use these exact files in a real project for the Ninja Turtles brand. And trust me, the last mistake, almost no one talks about. But once you see it, you'll never design the same way again. Let's kick things off with what held me back the most. And that's the painting. You think it's as simple as adding color underneath your line art, but without one setting, you're in for a total mess. Okay, so you finish your line art and it's time to color. So you create a new layer, you put it underneath, you grab your paint bucket tool, and then this happens. And I know what you're saying to yourself, Anderson, I could stop this from happening by just using a brush tool. Well, there's a problem with that. If your design is super detailed, you will spend forever trying to color it in. But there's a much better way. Let me introduce you to the reference layer. By setting your line art as a reference, you're telling your paint bucket tool to use your line art as a guide to drop in color in between the lines. Doing this keeps your line art separated and protected from your coloring layers. But what I really love about this is it keeps your artwork organized. And it's easy to go back to revisit any changes to your design because you didn't like something or because a client wanted you to make a last minute change. And that's exactly what I did for my design with the Ninja Turtles brand. So here's what happened. I only had a week to create a design for one of their new video games. I was able to make this happen just by simply implementing the reference layer tool. I was able to quickly lay down my solid colors and then create a new layer for my shadows and my highlights. Just by doing this, I was able to get my design done twice as fast. And that's not even the best part. Because I had so much extra time left, I was able to create a second design to show the brand just so they can choose which design they like the best. Now that we know why the reference layer is such a lifesaver, let me show you how to turn it on. All right, for our first step, we want to make sure that we have our line art chosen for our layers. We're going to go over to our layers panel, which can be found right here. And what you're going to see is this little icon right here. Now, once I know that my drawing is selected, I'm going to go down right here, and I'm going to hit the 3 dots. So right here is where I'm going to look for the set as reference. So I'm going to go all the way down, the 4 from the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and hit that. I'm going to add a new layer by hitting the new layer icon. You're going to want to take the layer and put it right underneath. And now this is where the magic's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead, drop a color in there, boom. Now look how fast I'm able to go ahead and color in my design. And just a heads up, you can also use this feature for shading. You can see my shadows and my colors are all separated from each other, which is awesome because it keeps everything protected. All right, for our next mistake, it's ignoring a tool that's sitting right on your canvas, and it's probably the reason you're wasting hours trying to clean up your line art. Not using the touch modifier. Most beginners don't touch it because they don't know what it does. But once I learned how to use it, it completely changed how I clean up my line art. And that's exactly why the touch modifier exists. It's about to save you a ton of time. Here's how the touch modifier changes everything. Instead of switching to the eraser and carefully trimming each line, just swipe your Apple Pencil over any intersecting lines and then they'll disappear instantly. And this isn't even the best part. You can erase multiple sections at once just by drawing a quick, continuous stroke over all unwanted lines. Let me show you exactly how to turn it on and start using it. So just a heads up, before I do anything, the most important thing you need to know is this only works with a vector brush or vector shapes, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, hit my vector brush. Then I'm going to go all the way to my layer section, which you'll know by the little icon over here. And I'm going to make sure that I am selected on my vector layer, which I am. So perfect. And what I'm going to do right now is I want to double tap the touch modifier. So 1, 2. You want to do it quickly just so it happens. So a quick double tap. After I double tap, I'm going to do it one more time. Now, you see this right here? You see how the outside ring of it is glowing? This lets me know that the touch modifier is officially on. So now I'm going to zoom into a Deadpool design that I did. And from a quick glance, it looks fine. But if you take a quick look, you could see that I have some details that I could easily clean up. Any part that I just don't want, I'm going to go ahead and swipe and it's going to disappear. But just when you thought it couldn't get any better, I can actually erase multiple pieces all at one time. And all I have to do is just continue to draw just like so, and both pieces will disappear. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna clean up my Deadpool design right here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that I don't need. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw them in any order, and they're all gone. Look how easy that is. Now, when you're all done with the touch modifier, all you wanna do is go ahead. Before moving forward, I do wanna show you a really cool shortcut that the touch modifier has. You could also use a touch modifier to temporarily turn your brush into an eraser while keeping the same texture. I want to double tap my touch modifier. Once that I see the color ring in the middle, then I know that it's on. Now, when I erase the blue color in my cat, the paint fades away and matches the brush I was drawing with. What makes this shortcut so cool is how it feels like I'm erasing in real life. Think of it like taking a pencil drawing and slowly watching it fade away. Alright, so now that we know how to take advantage of our new best friend, the touch modifier, now let's talk about control, or more specifically, why your lines feel stiff or unpredictable even when you're using your favorite brush. Mistake number 3 is using brushes without adjusting the pressure sensitivity. And honestly, that's why your line art probably feels stiff or unpredictable. I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't think about throwing my iPad out the window. The good news is you could fix this in seconds. Anytime you pick a brush, vector, pixel, or live, you want to look for the setting icon at the bottom of the toolbar. From there, you can adjust the pressure sensitivity curves to match how you draw. So check this out. If you draw with a light touch, go with a lighter setting. Me personally, I press down hard, so I set mine close to the max. Once you make this change, the difference is immediate. Smoother lines, better control, and no more fighting with the brush. Now I'm going to show you how to edit your stylus pressure. So first you're going to pick whatever brush you want to work with, and for me, I'm going to pick the vector brush. Then once I have that selected, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom until I see this little option right here. It should look like 2 little sliders. I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now the setting that we're looking for is the one that's a stylus pressure. And we're going to find that all the way at the bottom right here. So we can go ahead and click that. And then it's going to pop up this screen right here. So this is exactly where we want to be. So I'm going to go to the lightest setting, and I'm just going to barely tap this. And as you can see, it's able to pick up exactly what I'm drawing. This section right here is your test area. We're going to be able to test to see if the brush is to your liking. And then when you're all done, you're going to click that and it's going to disappear. Now I'm going to go to the hardest one, all right, just to show you what it looks like. Now, if I lightly tap on that, as you can see, it doesn't pick up anything at all. I legitimately need to press as hard as I can for it to be able to react. Now, this last mistake, no one talks about it, but it's the reason digital art can feel chaotic, overwhelming, and straight up miserable when you're just starting out. Mistake number 4 is failing to organize your layers. When I first started, I had zero system for organizing my layers. I would be halfway through a project, something would look off, and I'll waste 30 to 40 minutes just clicking around trying to find one shadow layer. And then, just when I think I found it, I end up doing something that every single artist fears. And that's deleting something that I didn't intend to. And then I learned I could simply name my layers as I go so I could remember what each layer contains. For example, in this design that I did for G.I. Joe, I broke my layers into groups to help keep myself organized. Just for those who are wondering, my usual layer groups are line art, flat colors, highlights, and shadows. Sometimes I add new layers for backgrounds and typography, but it really depends on what I'm doing. Alright, so let me show you how you can change the name of your layers. So we go to the layer panel, go ahead and click that. Then we're going to find which layer we want to change the name of. So we're just going to go to this one right here. Make sure that it's clicked. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go right back to the right hand side and we're going to click this slider. Once you have the slider picked, we're going to go to the name right here and click it. This is going to bring up our keyboard. So we can go ahead and hit the X, delete what it is, and we can name it whatever we want. So I'm just going to call this line art. Type this in, hit done, hit the slider again. Then I should be all set. Now if I want to check to make sure it was done properly, I'm just going to go ahead and hover over it, and then it's going to let me know this is the name of my new layer. All right, folks, now that we fixed the biggest beginner mistakes, let's take it a step further. You see, there are 11 Adobe Fresco settings that most people never touch, but that instantly make your workflow smoother. All you gotta do is click here to see what you're missing.